Welcome to MS Unmasked, Our Journey and Beyond, a podcast where hosts Justine Martin and Allyson Brown share their personal experiences, insights and practical advice on navigating life with multiple sclerosis. Each week they delve into topics such as self-care, nutrition, exercise, sleep and symptom management. Join them as they explore the physical, emotional and mental aspects of living with MS, providing a supportive community for listeners touched by this condition. Get ready to be inspired and empowered on this incredible journey through MS Unmasked, Our Journey and Beyond.
Welcome back, listeners. We're here today. I'm Justine and I've got Allyson. How are you, Allyson?
I am doing all right. How are you, Justine?
I think that's a lie, Allyson.
I know, right? I'm just being polite. Can I say that I feel like shit?
Because isn't that what we do, us MSs? When someone asks us how we are, we're like, oh yeah, we're fine. And we know that we're not. But to answer, like if someone says to me, oh, how are you? Oh yeah, I'm fine. And I know that's a lie.
Because
I'm not going to turn around and say, well, I feel absolute shit, crap, blah, 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 because this is wrong, blah, 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 blah. So the simpler answer is, oh, yeah, I'm fine. So
and we are very good at wearing masks, but because we're MS Unmasked, we get to say that, I guess.
I'm smiling today. So, Allyson, why do you feel like shit?
Well, look, I may or may not have COVID. A guy that played soccer with my husband last night has tested positive for COVID this morning. And although I've tested myself twice today, I'm negative, but I'm feeling that headache. I'm feeling that sluggishness. I'm feeling that bit run down. So maybe it's just the idea of it, but I do feel a little bit under the weather today.
And you've had your water, no doubt, because you only drink.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm drowning myself in water. But obviously, if something's coming up, then, you can only do your best bet to try to fight off.
So is there anything, because, your everheal and your immune system and everything, is there something that you've taken extra today? Do you increase something over the next couple of days? What's your secret is what I'm asking.
Yeah, so I have done a few different things. So I know that my immunity has been down due to stress, right? So that's been a big one. So your gut-brain connection, obviously if there's stuff going on in your brain that I'm kind of stressing about, guess what? It's going to compromise my gut health. And so my immunity is lowered at the moment because of this. Knowing this, I obviously am wary of that when it comes to catching something like a virus.
Yeah.
But what I've been doing is I'm booking myself in for some stress management because I think that's really important to talk through some issues, see if I can get this sort of issue sorted that I'm worried about so that I can move to that next step. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm taking some herbal tinctures from the naturopath, which is like concentrated herbs that can do some really funky stuff with gut healing. I'm taking some oregano oil that I gave to you, I remember a while back, that's meant to really be a strong antioxidant and powerful kind of healer.
And it straight like I did, straight in the mouth. It burns the shit out of your mouth like you wouldn't believe. It has to be diluted down in water or a smoothie or something.
And I'm pretty sure that if you just read the label, it probably says exactly that. But, we sort of just go, yeah, this is going to fix us. Let's take it.
No, it's because that's how I have my cannabis oil with a dropper.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, well, this is the same. So under the tongue, and then I've gone, oh, my God, this is the worst stuff I've ever put in my mouth. It must be good for you, but, oh, my God, it's burning. It burnt my mouth.
Yeah. No, definitely dilute that down. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm going to see a naturopath next week as well to try to just work on that gut health because when I can get the gut health better, my immunity boosts up because 80% of our immune health is actually governed by our gut. So once I can fix that guy up, then I can start to be on the road to recovery.
So do you think that you're having a reflare?
I'm on the verge of it, I
Yeah,
think.
you and me both at the moment. Yeah, I am,
Yeah, which is quite unusual for me.
and
But
me.
this stress has been like pretty chronic and I haven't been able to shake it. I thought I could just deal with it, but it seems to be catching up with me a little bit. So, yeah, still got the neuropathy in my hands and my feet. So, a bit of numbing, tingling, all that kind of fun stuff. But I'm still able to walk, which is quite, I suppose, unusual for my types of relapses. If I get a relapse, I just usually can't walk.
So
Uh,
there's a fine line, isn't there, of like, okay, well, this is what it's doing at the moment. Um, am I going to wake up tomorrow and is it going to be worse? And
and how terrifying is that?
it's extremely terrifying. I mean, I'll never forget the day I woke up and I couldn't put my feet on the ground. And, it took about 3 weeks to be able to shuffle again and walk with a walking frame in hospital, and horrific time in hospital being assaulted by another patient and everything. So, there's a lot of trauma that's still associated with that hospital visit. But
It's
yeah,
funny, isn't it? I just to digress a little bit, my cousin has a 6 month preemie child who's now a couple of years old, but
yeah,
she gets sick quite frequently and she's had to go into hospital a lot. So as a 6 month old preemie, she was in hospital for months, like just trying to actually grow and build up to a little human being. And since she's been in hospital so much afterwards, she now has trauma for having to go into the hospital all the time. Like she remembers like that if the doctor comes in or the nurses come in, that means a needle in my arm or it means that they're going to hurt me. And she's actually building up some trauma. Like, and this is I think she's 2. So
yeah,
like a 2-year-old is actually already getting that. So that trauma is real and that can stay with you for a really long time.
yeah, definitely. That's how, I'm digressing as well here. Trauma going to the dentist from when I was a child. And as we know, I went to the dentist only a few weeks ago and just sitting outside. It's like, just walk inside, just get this done. And I was only having my teeth cleaned. It's not as if I had a hole or a crown or anything that needed to be fixed
Yeah.
on there.
My mom avoided going to the dentist for like, I'd say something like 40 years, something crazy like that, because she had massive childhood trauma and she was like, I'm never going to the dentist. And I convinced her to go to a good one that I'd been to. And she was like, oh my God, they put a needle in my gum and I didn't even realize. Like it was that good. So,
Is they've told me that. So I've got fillings that I had put in my teenage years. And so I'm not going too bad. These fillings are like 37 years old and they reckon I'll get about another 5 years out of them. And I'm like, oh God, oh God. Oh,
it's the old silver fillings though, right?
the amalgam
Yeah,
ones.
I wish they had have done the other ones. I wonder whether, sometimes I get a bit of a metallic taste in my mouth and I just wonder whether, there's any of that
Well, back in
mercury.
the day when my mum had MS in the 80s, there was some form of study or something came out about amalgam fillings and it making either your MS worse or giving you MS or that, which we know now isn't true. But you've got a toxic metal in your mouth because they're mercury.
Mercury based, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd have to be poisoning us to some degree there, but minimal with it. But yeah, so
Yes.
just the fact of them putting, the drill in there. Anyway, getting back to reflaring, because we've kind of digressed there. I definitely am reflaring. I had COVID about a month ago and have just been getting slowly worse from that. And as soon as I get an infection in my body, little things start to happen because
What kind of little things?
well, my feet are spasming, so I don't get so much the pins and needles, but my toes all hook up. So they kind of, if you're looking on the vlog, you'll be able to see it, but they kind of like go like that, and that makes it very difficult to walk. And if I'm out doing my walking at the moment, that's when it's happening. Or I could be walking through Coles and I'm down aisle like 5, and then all of a sudden my feet have gone. It's like, holy shit, how do I get back to the car? Kind of thing. I just kind of stand at the trolley and go, okay, just relax, just relax, just relax. So if
I
you
know,
don't
and
have
that's
MS,
scary.
yeah, if you don't have MS, the closest that you could actually compare it to would be a cramp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so my legs are enjoying it from the knees down as well, and my right hip flexor is in full spasm mode with that one. But I haven't taken my cannabis oil in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you stupid bitch, Justine, you really need to get on and get back onto my CBD oil. So tonight I shall be dosing and starting again. And I've just, traveling so much is what I've done in the last couple of months, Allyson. I haven't been eating the way that I would normally eat in my clean food. And as you know, I've just been away on a holiday with all the kids, and it was extremely difficult. And I knew that I would have problems when I came back, but I had the mindset, okay, my first day back was Sunday, clean up my diet and take all the high refined carbohydrate sugars out of it. And not that I was eating excess when I was away, but I have a very fine line on what I can eat and what I can't eat, and I'd cross that line, and I'm paying for it. So the headaches, the sinus, are all part of, the low immune and that. But my face is starting to tingle through here. My top lip starts tingling. My eyes are blurry, more so than normal. And they're just all little key indicators that something is not right. And if I don't do something about it, I'll be back at my neurologist saying, I think I need steroids. And I will do hell and high water to avoid that. So, yeah, some of mine is actually self-induced because I have made some poor choices and I've done too much. And I'm the first to admit that. So it's like, okay, well, I need to stop and reset. And I don't get overly cranky with myself or frustrated in that. It's like, okay, well, sometimes life does get in the way, and just reset. What about you?
Yeah, you do have to show that kindness, I think, to ourselves. Like, we show kindness to everybody else, except when it comes to ourselves, we usually struggle to actually just go, you know what? It's okay. It's okay that this has happened. But that's one of the first things, definitely. Yeah, and I think just being aware of your choices, being aware of how your body feels at any kind of moment in the day or the next day. Like, is it worse today than it was yesterday? All right, I've got to keep an eye on it. Look, if it gets to excess, particularly my limit is if my legs start, completely not working, guess what? I need some intervention because I can't just, meditate my way out of that. That is something else that I'm doing too. So I've done about 3 meditations so far today, just to make sure that I've got that sort of calm, that I'm not kind of getting lost in my own headspace, my own thoughts.
Yep.
And another thing that I'm doing that I forgot to mention is that I'm doing a bit of a bone broth. I won't say that I'm fasting this time, but a bit of a bone broth cleanse. So for people that don't know, bone broth is effectively like a soup that you make with bones and basically like everything that you would put in a stock. So, carrots and celery and herbs and just bits and pieces, and you boil it all up. I usually do it for a good 24 hours. So like in my slow cooker or my pressure cooker, you get all the nutrients out, you get all the collagen out, you get all the goodness. So it leaches out into the broth, and then you just drink the broth. So I've now got a big, 2-liter thing of bone broth that I'll be just sipping on a couple of times a day. And that's going to give me the nutrient value that I need, those healing properties that I need to actually start that healing process too.
Which is great in that you can take that because I can't.
So why can't you take that, Justine?
Because it's slow cooked. So the longer that something is cooked, the higher the histamine level that is produced in it. So your bone broth is a high histamine food, not a low histamine food. So if it was fast cooked, yes, I could, but then you don't get all the nutrients in it, like you've said. So I can't eat leftover food, unless it comes straight out of the freezer.
You might be able to do like a slow, or like a faster cooked sort of soup or something like that. That's just like,
there's a time period that it has to be cooked in.
mm-hmm.
So it makes it, your good old chicken soup is good.
Yeah.
And isn't it strange that when we all get sick, all we want is chicken soup? Now, is that because that's what we were brought up with having, or is that our body, every cell in our body actually screaming that we need the nutrients that's in that soup?
Yeah, and I think what's good about any kind of soup or broth is that it is in like micro and macro nutrient levels. So the smaller the particle levels, the less our body has to work to actually absorb that stuff. So, if you think about eating, we do eating to get nutrients to give us energy, right? So if we think about eating, like we have like a banana or something, and we have to chew the banana first, bite it up into, kind of big sized chunks. Then it goes into our stomach. Then it gets broken down into smaller particles, goes into our small intestine, gets broken down into smaller particles. And it's basically like this whole production line of breaking it down into smaller particles. If it's already liquid, guess what? Your body can absorb that much faster. So it takes a lot of the stress off your digestive system.
Less energy to actually absorb it than eating, bigger, chunkier pieces. Digressing here, have you been to Tasmania to Mona?
No, I haven't.
All right, so out there in listener land, I'm sure some of you have been down there. Mona has an exhibit there that's the poo machine. So they feed it all the scraps from the cafe upstairs. Yeah, upstairs. And it goes through all these chambers and that. You can look at it. It's on YouTube and everything. It goes through all these chambers, and then a couple of times a day it actually poops. And it smells like poop. So it's really
delightful.
But it's really interesting to see it go through and be digested up and how it then comes out. Pardon me. I've actually got a video of it pooping, but I actually panned around to the audience to see the look on their face when it was happening, because some people don't realize that that's what's about to happen with it. But I mean, our digestion system is an amazing, complex, working, hopefully well-oiled machine for there. But yeah, so some foods I can't eat.
Sorry, I was going to say it does get a bit disrupted once we get, an autoimmune diagnosis. It kind of is saying that there's some stuff that's wrong with our system as well, but it doesn't have to be broken all the time. We can do things to fix it along the way, but getting to that root cause is completely what we have to do. So for you to fix your histamine issue, like it would be looking at like root cause, and then it would be a long drawn out process for you to actually fix it. You can fix it. It's just, it's a big process.
My problem is because I do get so many infections. I'm on this roundabout circle that when I start to fix it, then I'm on antibiotics again. And then that starts me back to the beginning. So it's trial and error. Okay, well, I can eat this week. Is it going to affect me next week? And, I belong to a lot of Facebook histamine support groups, and what some people can eat, I can't touch. So we're all different. We're all, peas and carrots on the plate. We all we mix. They look good together. We mix, but we're also our own entity. So, well, I hope that you don't have COVID.
Well, me too. But it would explain why I'm feeling so shitty. It would explain it.
Actually fine.
Yes, I did a little white lie just for the sake of being pleasant, because, I think that's the thing. And, I do think back to when I had like full on MS, relapses all the time, and people would say to me like, "Oh, how are you going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. I'm all right." And then they're like, well, you're looking good. That was like one of the worst things that people could say.
What do you say in reply to that? Because I know what I say.
I often would say, well, feeling kind of shit, but I'm glad I'm looking good.
Well, my reply is thanks, because how I look is the only thing that I can actually control.
Nice.
I put a lot of effort into the way that I look, and not at the moment, it's the end of the day, on how I look and how I present to the outer world.
I actually did a little video a while back, and it was just of me in the bathroom, no makeup on, and it was me putting my makeup on. And I was talking about how the reason why I put makeup on.
Yep.
And it's because when I was really sick, I remember like I'd just walk past a mirror, I'd have no makeup on, I'd look like death, and I'd be like, oh my God, you look like shit. Like, as well as feeling shit, it made me feel worse to look at myself looking so unwell. And so I started just putting a little bit of something on. You know, it doesn't have to be heaps. It just made me feel a little bit less like walking death. When I saw myself in the mirror, you know, I didn't feel better, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense. You know,
that's because I used to be morbidly obese and didn't give a shit about how I looked. You know, I was 46, 47 kilos heavier, and didn't hardly even brush my hair, never wore makeup. My boobs hang down to my navel. You know, you get the drift. Didn't wear shoes half the time. I was, feral. And when I lost weight and started getting some pride about myself, I vowed that I'd never walk out of the house again without my face on. Now, my face can just be a layer of foundation to hide some of the blemishes, and I get a really red nose as well from the histamine. And it can just be just a simple case of having just that light layer over the top, and I feel so much better within myself.
I think that's what it is. It's about how you feel. Like, who cares about the world judging you? It's about how you feel about your own self and self-worth. And so even I've heard some people are just like, I just put on a bit of lippy. Like, that makes me feel better, or a little bit of mascara or something, whatever that is, that just makes you feel like you're worth it.
Yeah.
Because you are.
Yeah.
Because you are. You do matter. And, you know, if it makes you feel a little bit better, even if you're having the shittiest day and it just makes you feel just a little bit better, just to go, well, at least I got my lippy on. You know, I mean, that's just something, right?
My nana would never walk up the street without lippy on. All the time. Just ducking down to the shops to get some milk, and she'd go in and she'd put a lippy on and she'd, you know, do her hair, and off she'd go again, change her clothes, and then she'd come back, put her old clothes back on, her apron back on, and, you know, carry on the rest of her day. But she always made sure that she, took pride in herself. I mean, I look now at, you go to the supermarket and there's people in there in their pajamas. Like, what is with that? People, have some pride about yourself.
But, you know, like, if you didn't feel up to it and you're like, you know what, I need to get eggs or milk or whatever, I'm just going down the shops, I'm in my pajamas, oh, God, whatever. Like, I mean, I celebrate that. If you're like, I need to get stuff and I just can't. I just can't. It's like even getting out of bed.
Yeah, I still would not go in my pajamas.
Oh, look, I wouldn't necessarily do it, but I think that, you know, I want to encourage people to just
sleep naked.
Do you. What was that?
I said I sleep naked, so there's no way I'm going in my pajamas down there.
Okay, well, don't do that. You probably will get arrested.
Today, Ellie came in and goes, Mum, we're out of milk. And I'm like, oh, my God. And class was on, and I went, hang on, I'll whiz down the shop. So I whizzed down the shops in my Ugg boots, and I felt conscious just wearing my Ugg boots. And I've got, like, designer Ugg boots that have got rabbit around the top of them, so they're not like your normal Uggies. But I'm like, oh, people are going to think I'm a feral. They're going to think I'm a feral. But anyway.
But, you know, that's just you judging you, right? Like, that's just you being self-conscious about it. But, you know, if you just need to do it, then you just got to do it.
Like icy poles at the moment, and Even in UGG boots with socks, they're still cold. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to changing those to go just to get 2 liters of milk. So UGG boots is about as far as I'll go with that. So what have you got on this weekend? How are you looking after yourself?
I am doing nothing. I've got nothing planned, and I'm planning on keeping it that way. Obviously, it will depend on whether we've got a COVID diagnosis or not.
Yep.
But I just plan on looking after myself. And if that's just resting, doing absolutely nothing, that's what I'm going to do. If there's a bit of sunshine around, great. I'll get some outside sunshine. Just do some grounding on the earth.
Why is sunshine important?
So many reasons. Great question. Well, one, it's great for obviously vitamin D for us MSs, but it's also can help with sleep. It helps with mood. It helps with, endorphins, everything. Like it's the sun. The sun is so important. In fact, my Pilates instructor just came back from the other side of the planet, and she said that they were in an area which gets barely any sunshine at this time of the year and barely any darkness at the other time of the year. And she said it totally threw her off. She hated it because she was used to kind of it getting to that time of the night and she'd get sleepy because it was getting dark. And she said it was just still light. She goes, totally threw me off.
It would. Definitely. Do you supplement with your vitamin D?
Yeah. So I take vitamin D as well as vitamin K. So the reason I take the two together is that vitamin K stops the arteries hardening. So the arteries can sometimes start to harden if you're just having vitamin D. So I started putting in vitamin K. So vitamin K2 and vitamin D, you can get them as a dual tablet, a capsule.
And do you get them in Australia or do you have to get them overseas like most?
I order them through iHerb.
Yeah, you've got to love iHerb.
Yes.
I'm on the 5,000 international units.
So I take one tablet of 5,000 just for vitamin D, and then I take a capsule of vitamin D/vitamin K.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I might have to start on the vitamin K as well. That's a good point.
Yeah, I only found out about it last year, and I thought, okay, well, I don't want my arteries hardening now, so let's get some vitamin C.
Those people that take iron. If you take iron, you need vitamin C to go with it because your body won't absorb the iron unless you've got vitamin C. And the quickest way to get vitamin C is eat a red capsicum.
Really?
Yeah, red capsicums apparently have more vitamin C than what oranges do.
Yeah, I would have gone for the oranges probably, but yeah.
So I can't eat orange because it's a high histamine food and gives me migraines instantly from having oranges. But I can eat a capsicum.
Nice.
A raw red capsicum. And I used to eat them in high school. That was part of my lunch. I'd be sitting there eating raw red capsicums. Love them. Or paprikas, the longer red ones that aren't hot. Or if you're in America listening to this, I think you guys call them bell peppers.
Yes, and you will have to be a little bit careful depending on the type of tolerance that you have to these things, because some people don't tolerate nightshade vegetables very well, and capsicums and bell peppers and chilies, they're in that bell pepper. They're in the nightshade kind of category, which can flare up some symptoms. So, if you happen to just go, I need some vitamin C, hoe into a capsicum and then go, oh my God, I don't feel well. Be mindful because it is a nightshade. Yeah.
Or if you're like me and you don't feel well after eating an orange. So, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people don't associate that the food that they're eating is what's actually making them feel crap.
Well, it can happen 2 days later. It can actually have a lag effect.
Yeah, and if you're feeling crap all the time, it could be because it is your diet.
It's the first thing. It's my first go-to thing is to just check your diet. Just have a look at it. Start looking at the ingredients lists on the back of your food. Honestly, you probably shouldn't need to read the back of the ingredients because you should probably just be eating some nice, fresh fruit and veg. That's going to be the thing that's going to give you that energy that you need. Start with the labels.
That's because we've made food a hobby.
It's true.
Yeah, and a pastime rather than, it's just fuel.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really our fault. It's been a gradual kind of thing that's happened over the last 100 years where they've gone, oh my God, if we add sugar into all our food and we get people addicted to all this junk food, we're going to make trillions of dollars, which they do. But yes, the marketing has gone out the door as well, because now we crave these sugary foods that aren't doing us very much good at all.
Don't even get me started on diet products.
Okay, that'll be for another episode, I guess.
In another episode. Someone actually did send us a question the other day, and we'll discuss it in the upcoming weeks, and that's on accessibility, on using wheelchairs and mobility devices, and how society isn't equipped for any of that. So we might talk about that in the next couple of weeks. Well, we will talk about that in the next couple of weeks, because I've been looking for a venue to launch our book in September. And so I've got the one here organised in Geelong and up in Townsville. Last week I was trying to find a accessible venue, and it was mind-blowing on what people think accessibility actually is. So we might cover that one next week, Elle, I think.
Wow. Yeah. That'd be good. I've got a few things to say about it. My husband's a building surveyor as well, so he does a lot of disability assessments and access points. So, yes, he's a good egg. He looks after us in that space when there's new buildings being built, but not everybody does.
No, that's right. That's right. So, let's talk about that one next week. Anyway, listeners, I think we're going to wrap it up. Have you got anything else to say, Elle?
I was just going to ask you what you're doing this weekend, since you asked me.
What I'm doing this weekend is looking after 4 children. So there goes my relaxing weekend. I've got podcasts to record for Resilience Mindset podcast on Saturday morning, because as you know, I run another podcast, and you can find that on all major streaming platforms. If you're out there listening and you want to listen to something a little bit different, similar but different, we don't talk about MS so much on the other one. It's open to the general population, and on their stories of adversities and overcoming them. So I've got 3 of those to record on Saturday morning, and I'm meeting up with our good friend Deb for a cuppa as well on Saturday morning, because her and I are running the Geelong Art Show. So behind the scenes, I'm the vice president on the committee for that one. And
I've put my entries in.
Yes, put your entries in.
I have.
And entries are open till the 21st of July, and you can find them on geelongartshow.com.au if you want to enter. And all the money's going to cancer research on that one. And then I've got the bridesmaids coming over to try on all the bridesmaids' dresses, because my daughter's getting married in October, and I've ordered in all the dresses, so they've turned up, and they're beautiful. And then I'm getting the 4 children, which are 11, 9, 4 and 2, because the youngest one's birthday is today. So I'm going over shortly to help with the birthday cake. I've actually got to go pick up the kids and take them back home after this. And then I think Saturday afternoon it'll be nanny's time. Sunday afternoon, because I've got them for over 24 hours. I'll be putting my feet up and watching one of my shows, either on Netflix or Paramount or, somewhere, as I'm editing chapters for our book. Or I might actually write my chapter, because I still haven't written it. And then
So it's just a slow weekend then, just a really relaxing weekend for you by the sounds of it.
Oh, so it's a weekend. Oh.
The one where you meant to rest and recharge and all that stuff. Yeah.
I just do that in Queensland on my holiday that I work the whole time. I'm working for the next 4 weeks because I'm going to Bali. I'm off to Bali for a riding retreat for 7 days and then 4 days holidays afterwards. So I am trying to get as much as I can done before I go. But, yeah, that's my weekend. Next weekend, however, I have very little planned at this stage. Don't tell my children, because they'll want me to babysit. So, but, having the grandkids for the night, they're very easy to look after. They're not hard at all. And they give me purpose in life. They give me, the smiles. They hop into bed on Sunday morning and we all giggle and laugh. And the two younger ones tend to. The other two are always on their electronics or sneaking them in to watch them. And then we all make breakfast together. And they make porridge here. That's their thing. They love Nanny's porridge. And then we'll go to the play hut. I'll take them to the gym and they can run around and exhaust them out. And then we'll come back and probably watch a movie and make popcorn because they like me making popcorn from scratch, not out of the bag because the bag's got too many chemicals in it. So I just buy a packet of old-fashioned popcorn and off we go. So that's my weekend, Elle.
Nice.
I'm crossing everything, all my fingers and toes and everything that you don't have COVID.
Thank you.
It'll either be me doing it by myself next week because Elle's got COVID, or she'll be here with a.
I'll be here. I'll be here regardless of COVID. I'll just be talking dribble like usual. So you won't know any different.
Me too. We'll just be dribbling. Anyway, listeners, if you do have a question, remember you can email either of us and the details are in the bio, or comment on the YouTube links that are out there on Justine Martin Corporation. Have you got it up on YouTube yet, Elle?
I don't think I have. I was trying to sort out my YouTube name so that I can actually say it without it being like 746352. Yes.
Okay, so in time, people, you'll be able to listen to it on watch it on Allison's YouTube, but at the moment you can watch it just on Justine Martin Corporation. And look, please comment. I've been keeping an eye on the download figures and who's been looking, and comment on it. We'd love to hear some feedback on everything, or in any of the social media you contact us as well. So everyone out there, stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
With over 11 years public speaking expertise, Justine thrives on delivering a powerful and empowering keynote to audiences of all sizes. From a packed room of 500 people to an intimate gathering of 50 people, Justine will command the room with her inspiring journey and engaging antidotes. Email hello@justinemartin.com.au to book Justine for your next event.
Tired of chronic illness and fatigue? Everheal's guided diet and lifestyle programs can help you reclaim your energy and transform your health. Visit everheal.com.au for a free health assessment today.